Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Y'all know what's up, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 2 of Tuesday night's main event. You know, one of these days I'm gonna learn to push the right buttons at the right damn time and be in the right place at the right time. But y'all gotta excuse me. I'm a little excited. I got a lot happening in my life right now and a lot happening in my world right now, which makes me so excited. I'm not gonna say anything yet until something is etched in stone. But there are some big things coming for this actual platform. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. Pray for me. But in the meantime, in between time, man, this is Tuesday night's main event. Y'all know who it is, man. Y'all know who it is. I am Don P. Yes, I need a haircut. Stop looking at my head. That's why I'm wearing these headphones. I'm about to take them off. Y'all know I hate working with headphones. So we just gonna get to it, man. Thank everybody for watching episode 1 last week. And I promise y'all, I'm gonna try to keep up with the episodes on this one. I don't own Full Disclosure. I don't own Club Pizzle. I don't own Pizzle's Picks. I just don't keep up with episodes because honestly, I don't really give a darn. I don't give a damn. But it is what it is, man. Let's get to it. The last time I saw you guys, I talked about SummerSlam for the most part and a little bit of the Raw after SummerSlam. So y'all seen what happened and y'all seen what was up. But what I'm gonna do now, SmackDown happened since the last time I talked to you guys. I haven't watched any other things besides I watched SummerSlam again. I watched SmackDown like twice, and I watched Monday Night Raw. I haven't had the opportunity to watch NXT Great American Bash. I saw the first week, but I didn't see last week's. I haven't caught any AEW stuff except for the Bryan Danielson Swerve Strickland segment from a couple of weeks ago. I haven't watched TNA. I haven't watched NWA. So again, man, I am going to try to get all of those promotions in at some point if I'm only just going to talk about certain matches. Excuse me. And if you guys out there have any matches that y'all can recommend to me from any of those companies, like if anything happens in wrestling between Tuesday night at 8:00 to the following Tuesday or Monday or whatever, if there's anything that happens in wrestling, or if there's a match that y'all think I should check out from any other promotion, if I don't, just point it out to me. Right now, I'm so heavy into WWE. I try to take, like, I can't put my attention on AEW or TNA or New Japan or any of that other stuff. So I'm asking for y'all's help out there. Y'all know I don't like asking for help. I really, So just give me that. Let's talk about last Friday's SmackDown because y'all know what it is over here at this network. We are here for a good time, not a long time. Last Friday's SmackDown started off with a recap of what happened. Let me get off. I keep shaking the damn table. Why the hell this table keeps shaking? I'm telling y'all, I'm going to be so glad to share this good news with y'all because I'm getting tired of this shit. Yeah. SmackDown kicked off with Cody. The music hit, and I'm telling y'all, there are a lot of people out there saying that Cody's title reign is shit and that Cody's star is falling. That is the biggest lie I've ever heard. Because there are a lot of us out there who since WrestleMania 40 couldn't wait to get to a WWE event. And Cody's just on his victory lap. He's on month 4 of his victory lap. He got a huge ovation at SmackDown in Cleveland. He got a huge ovation here at this SmackDown in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I believe it was. Like the crowd is still hot for Cody Rhodes. And he came out and he was getting ready to announce who he wanted his next opponent to be, which he did eventually get to, but he was interrupted by Solo Sikoa, who came out with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. No Jacob Fatu. I noticed that was the first thing I noticed when he came out. I saw Tama Tonga holding the belt. I saw Tonga Loa holding the belt. And I was like, well, where the is Jacob? And I understand what they're doing with Jacob. I'm going to get to that in a second. Solo's asking for a rematch. They rush the ring. Bam, here comes Kevin Owens with a chair. See, I got your back, bro. Solo and the Tongans retreat. And then Cody says, wait, Kev, let me holler at you about something. I got a choice on who I want my next opponent to be, and I want it to be you. Kevin's trying to be humble and say, no, I don't deserve it. Kevin's trying to be babyface with it. So with this particular story here, I'm wondering, we have 2 weeks, roughly 2 weeks until Bash in Berlin. Are they going to keep Kev babyface, or will they make Kevin Owens turn into, there we go. Are they going to make Kevin Owens out to be, again, the worst friend ever? Outside of Triple H and a few other guys, you cannot trust Kevin Owens. We've seen it. Chris Jericho, Parade of Friends. We've seen it with Sami Zayn. He's turned on Sami Zayn. He turns on people. It's what Kevin Owens does. So it makes me wonder, will they do a babyface on babyface match? It's in Berlin. I think people, it's to this point where it's such this big gray area in WWE that Triple H just lets these guys rock and are going to let them be them. And if I can do KO as a tweener. I have no problems with KO being a tweener. But I'm wondering, on this week's SmackDown, will Kev actually make the turn? Just because of the promo he cut when Cody Rhodes kind of tricked him into taking the spot. And it just made me wonder, like, what was going to happen. Next up here on SmackDown, I'll get back to Solo and the Tongans later. And OTC, I'll get to it. But the Street Profits defeated A-Town Down Under in a qualifying match for the number 1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships, excuse me. I like this, and this is something that I like from this regime, the fact that they're doing things like this, the fact that they are trying to make these titles matter. I still do have a big problem with how WWE books its tag teams. And not only that, I have a huge problem with the way that they have booked the Street Profits. I don't like the way that they've booked Street Profits. You don't know if you want them to be baby faces or heels, even though I think a heel version of the Street Profits would be fire. You tease them kind of breaking up, but you don't break them up or turn on each other. Honestly, I would like to see Montez Ford do more singles. We saw what he could do in the Money in the Bank last year or whatever he did. It was Money in the Bank, right? I would like to see more Montez. I would like to see both of those guys do singles, split them up, put one on Raw, put one on SmackDown, and let them roll. These guys have been through so many changes. You remember when Dawkins first came up, he was a chubby, fat dude. He really looked like D'Lo Brown when D'Lo Brown was in the Nation of Domination getting his ass kicked every week, and nobody knew he was a wrestler. That's who Doc looked like. But he's worked on himself. He got himself down. You know, he didn't cut some weight. He looks great. Montez Ford, we've seen his transformation happen right before our eyes too, and he looks absolutely fantastic. So why don't you give these guys singles runs? I think Montez Ford is a superstar. I think Angelo Dawkins can be a mid-card guy. I think Angelo Dawkins can be your Intercontinental Champion, your United States Champion. I world championship run, I'm not sure. But that he can be a singles champion, the IC title or the US title. I just don't like the way that they're booking him. And speaking of their opponents, A-Town Down Under, just wrap this up. Wrap this up and turn my boy Theory babyface. Because it's coming. Like, everybody's been trying to tell him, Grayson Waller is using you. Grayson Waller don't like you. And it's going to be a matter of time before Grayson Waller turns on Austin Theory. The big question is, when that happens, will the WWE Universe get behind Austin Theory? I believe that Austin Theory as a babyface can be one of the biggest things in wrestling. The dude has the look. The dude has skills in the ring. He can talk on the mic. I think children and little girls will get, not little girls, but children and women will get behind him. He's a good-looking guy. And he has skill. And wrap that up. Just please wrap it up. I'm not a big fan of Grayson Waller, but he's a hell of a heel. And he's one of those, he could be the slimy heel. And you can put him and you can put Waller in Theory into a program going into Royal Rumble. Because we head towards the end of the year and we're seeing a lot of these stories are going to be coming to a culmination at WrestleMania or somewhere. Next up was I don't care about Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. Even though I believe that's going to be Tiffany Stratton's, there's going to be a feud for Tiffany Stratton whenever she decides to cash in that Money in the Bank. Chelsea Green is going to be right there. Jade Cargill beat Alba Fire. It was a decent match. It was good to get to see Jade in singles, just to see her by herself in the ring by herself and work a match, no matter how long it is, just to see some progress. Because I'm gonna go out on a limb and say by the Royal Rumble, she's gonna turn on Bianca and a newly arrived Naomi. So we got another faction, another big three, and you have this unholy alliance with Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, and Blair Davenport, the unholy union. And then you got the big three with Bianca, Naomi, and Jade, which I love, and they should have kept that even after WrestleMania, like going in. Keep those three women together. Give Bianca something to do. Give Naomi some other stuff to do. Keep those girls and make sure Jade is with those two girls at all time. Make sure she's joined at the hip with those two, because those can be her first two feuds out of the gate whenever she turns on them or they turn on her. However, they're going to do that. Honestly, I think a lot of us are expecting for Jade to turn on Bianca. I think Bianca should turn on Jade. I would like to see heel Bianca Belair. If y'all have not seen heel Bianca Belair, go and check out her NXT run. She was a heel over there. LA Knight had his United States Championship inauguration. He came out, he talked his talk. Shout out to LA Knight. I love LA Knight now. He's really fired up about it. But it was interrupted by Legado del Fantasma, or should I say, Santos Escobar, and that goes into his match with Andrade, which was actually a damn good match. I mean, those two guys have history, so I was expecting that. Carmelo Hayes, like, look, Andrade, I ain't done with you, so damn. And this Escobar and Andrade match was for the number one contender for the U.S. title. So now Santos Escobar will be LA Knight's next opponent for that U.S. title. They honor Kevin Sullivan. Rest in peace to Kevin Sullivan. Passed away on Friday. Rest in peace, Kevin Sullivan. One of one of those guys, man. Kevin Sullivan. If you watch WCW back in the late 80s, early 90s, like a lot of that stuff, it was pretty dope. He was a part of the Varsity Club. That's when I got introduced to Kevin Sullivan. He had Rick Steiner and Mike Rotunda, the Varsity Club. He also gave us Dungeon of Doom, which was one of his low points, and I hated to bring that up, but that was that. But he was one of the guys who did a lot of the stories and a lot of the booking in WCW in the 90s. The good stuff, I'll say. He did some of the good stuff. In the second qualifying match for the number one contender for the WWE Tag Team titles, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, aka DIY, defeated Pretty Deadly. Was a decent match. Again, that goes to show that I don't like the way they book Pretty Deadly. Like, they're a little sideshow, but those guys are wildly entertaining, and those guys can actually wrestle. So I don't like the way that they book them. I think they should book them a little bit better. Give them a little run and let them do their thing. And to end off the night, Solo came back out with the Bloodline, or with the Samoans, and called out Roman. They said, hey, if you want the Tribal Chief title, come and get it. Roman's music hits. The crowd goes crazy. He comes out. He just throws Tama Tonga away like he was trash. Now, I have an issue with that. I don't have a lot of issues with what WWE is doing right now, just because it is such a great product and they are kicking everybody's ass. And it's the best product it's been probably in a decade or so. I do have a problem with them making Tama Tonga look like a mutt. And I wanted Tama Tonga and Roman Reigns' first encounter to be something different. I wanted it to be like this stare down and the crowd goes crazy. And that's just a wrestling fan in me, because if y'all know Tama Tonga and Roman Reigns had a little bit of smoke on Twitter some years back. So that was kind of one of those, and Tama Tonga was one of those dudes over in Japan. Tonga Loa just throw him away like trash. He speared Solo and Superman punched Solo. He grabbed the Tribal Chief joints. They still got him away from him. And that's how SmackDown went off. Overall, SmackDown was pretty dope, man. Like, I'm not mad at how SmackDown went. SmackDown was, for the first one after this big SummerSlam, they told some stories. They continue some stories. I want to see where LA Knight goes and how they do his defenses. We see he's going to be with Santos Escobar. I'm trying to think of other heels on SmackDown, because there are not really many more heels on SmackDown. I can't see Solo Sikoa taking a step down and going after that U.S. title. One more thing about SmackDown. Jacob Fatu, conspicuous in his absence. They played that up as, they did come out and say that was a planned spot. And they're doing it to keep Roman and Jacob Fatu apart. And I like it. I love it. Because You and I all know out there that stare down between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu is going to tear the freaking world apart. I am so looking forward to those dudes staring and facing off in the middle of the ring. I am going to lose my ever loving mind when that happens. Oh, I cannot wait until we see that, because that is the matchup. They're keeping them apart because they either want that face off or Jacob is working with the OG bloodline. And they're going to bring in Haku's other son to go with Solo and his guys. Or, and I can see a scenario where they bring Hikuleo over. Jacob comes back. No, not Jacob coming back and beating up Solo and kicking him out. And now you really got the OG bloodline with Roman, Jimmy J, Solo against Jacob and the Tongans. But Solo being on that other side makes this more interesting. Listen, I'm just gonna throw this out here right now. I've been seeing a lot about it online. I've been talking with my guys about this online back and forth. They are planting seeds for the OG bloodline to get back together. Jimmy isn't back as of yet. I'm expecting Jimmy to be back in the next 2 or 3 SmackDowns. I'm not sure if there's a spot for the Bloodline 2.0 on Bash in Berlin. As of right now, there are 3 matches announced. 2 championship matches, the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther and Randy. Cody and KO for the WWE Championship, and a mixed match between Dom and Liv and Priest and Rhea, which I'm gonna get to here in a second. I'm expecting Jimmy back. Sammy and Jay kind of like getting back together. They're gonna find a way to move them over to SmackDown before November. I feel like Aldis and Pierce are gonna work up some kind of little plan to put those guys together and put them on SmackDown to get to join Roman or come back and help Roman out or something like that. They're planting those seeds. Also, if y'all check out WWE's YouTube account, they have like, listen, this Bloodline storyline was gonna be happening. It started like they really started planting the seeds in 2019, the end of 2019, in the Thunderdome era, where the Usos was helping Roman out against Corbin and Drew and all of those guys. And then going into January, they were right there to help him. And then like all that little time before the pandemic, before Mania, before Roman went away, before Mania or pulled out of Mania, his match against Goldberg, I believe. Like they were planting the seeds for this bloodline thing. Like, and I was sitting there watching this and I was like, holy moly, they are really planting the seeds for this. Let's get to Monday Night Raw. It started off with Rhea Ripley. Listen, babyface Rhea Ripley is cash money. Cash money. And you can't deny it. Like, I absolutely love it. She cuts her promo. Here comes Liv and Dom. They're up in the crowd. They're talking their trash. And what did I tell y'all last week? What did I tell y'all last week? Dom felt abused. He felt like less of a man. And Liv makes him feel like a man. She let my man eat tendies when he wants. And that was the line of the night. She lets me eat tendies. She lets me play the game. She lets him be him. So she made him feel like less of a man. Like the promo goes, Rhea's holding her own. Liv is doing her thing. Dom is doing his thing. Like, this was a great way to start the show off. And then Rhea's like, I'm glad you guys kept talking because now I know where you at. Bam, here go Priest. Boom, brawl breaks out. Great way to open the show. They end up back in the ring. And then, boom, the match with Priest and Carlito starts. This is a good match for Priest because Carlito is a pros pro, one of the guys that can go in the ring and can go with anybody. So I'm not upset with that. So I'm gonna give a round of applause for Damian Priest and Carlito. Sorry, y'all. Let me take yours. What was next on Raw? But that was a good match. Then the Judgment Day came out again and got chased off again. Good way to open the show. Next is the debut of Odyssey Jones. This kind of makes me sad because if you guys are watching this the way that I'm watching this and y'all can see it coming, this New Day breakup thing that they're teasing. I'm not gonna say it's almost inevitable, but they're teasing. I'll speak more about it after it happens, if it happens. I'm gonna be sad, y'all, to see these guys break up. They're not the same without E. I mean, let's be clear about that. Like, it's not the same, but there is a scenario where these guys can stay together, where Big E can come out and say, hey guys, we know what's going on with me. This man has my blessing. This man meaning Odyssey Jones. Before I get to the match, the YS6 video with Bo Dallas, like I'm damn near over this whole YS6 thing for real. I'm kind of over it, but I'm gonna keep watching because I like to see these guys in matches. I want to see these guys in matches. I love Gacy because Gacy can go. Loomis is pretty damn solid itself, and Rowan, and I've always liked Big Red, so I just want to see these guys in matches, in meaningful matches, and against someone other than the freaking Creed brothers and American Made. So hopefully they tie the bow around that, and they're going to be going after their next their people. Apparently they're baby faces right now, so ain't no telling who they'll go after. Maybe they'll go after the new Judgment Day. That'd be pretty cool. But Odyssey Jones is sick. He's like a combination of Mark Henry and Big E to me. Speaking of Mark Henry, him and his son was in the crowd. They waved out to the crowd. Y'all know his son is signed. Odyssey, again, with Odyssey, man, that dude looks great in the ring. And just seeing the way Woods is looking at Kofi, he's not feeling this. For whatever reason, he's not feeling it. Next match, Alpha Academy versus American Made, which was a Texas Tornado match. It was, these kind of matches can bring a lot of chaos. I wasn't really feeling this match like that. I do love Tozawa. I love the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers are as badass as they come. I love the shoot wrestlers who come into WWE. I love the Kurt Angles. I love the Shelton Benjamins, the Charlie Haasses, the Brock Lesnars, early Brock Lesnar. I love the Steiners, the Mike Rotundas back in his WCW NWA days. Jack Swagger. I love the wrestler guys, like the guys with the amateur backgrounds that come in and do nothing but get busy. American Made came up with the victory. Ivy now just dogged Maxine Dupree. Like she dogged her. We saw it coming, but she kind of dogged. I want to see the Creeds do more. I would love for the Creeds to actually get an opportunity to win championship gold. Would love to see that. I have some on Chad Gable in a second. Damage Control versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. The match was but I was so distracted by the name that these ladies gave themselves. Pure Fusion Collective. What the hell? I do not like that. PFC, it'll probably ring off a little more, but Pure Fusion Collective, I know we can't call them the stud line or what was like the forehead or whatever they call them, or El Lesbians or whatever, something that we can't hint at that type of stuff. But internally, I'm gonna call them the stunt line. The best part of this match to me is Io Sky. I absolutely love Io Sky. With what's my girl's name that's away and injured, Dakota Kai, with her out and injured. Hopefully Asuka's healthy and on the mend and on her way back to be able to help her girls. Randy and Gunther had a little face off, interrupted by Drew. Randy RKO's Gunther, and Punk comes out of nowhere and beats the crap out of Drew McIntyre. This segment was pretty fun because I love Randy, I love Gunther, I love Drew, I love Punk. This might set up a match at Bash in Berlin with a stip on it. It could be a strap match. Punk might have telegraphed that in his interview after, because he was whooping Drew McIntyre with a belt. I mean, he was beating him, as JR would say, he was beating him like a government mule. So that could possibly set that type of a matchup. Rewind back. Odyssey Jones and the New Day are going to be going up against Karrion Kross and AOP, the New Testament, next week. I don't think the turn is going to happen next week. It might. We're going to see. Miz versus Bronson Reed, thanks to R-Truth. I can smell Miz turning on R-Truth here real soon, because Truth has had Miz on some trash for a long time, and Miz don't like it. You can see it in Miz's face. It's like, dog, you keep going and making all of these matches that I'm not asking for and not volunteering for. You made this match that cost us our tag team titles. Now you got me in a match with freaking Bronson Reed after he done smashed Seth Rollins last week. So it was a bit of a squash. And then Reed proceeds to squash R-Truth, which I wasn't happy about because I love R-Truth. R-Truth does not need to be off of WWE TV ever. Never. Keep him on TV as long as he's there. And finally, Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, IC title, 2 out of 3 falls. I wasn't a big fan of it, but the story of it and like knowing the outcome, it's like, all right, Braun is gonna win this thing because he's gonna hold on to this title for a while. I would like to see him versus Chad Gable, to be honest with you. I know Jimmy Uso's not gonna. Maybe Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, WrestleMania next year, if they're gonna do this A-Town Down Under trade to Raw and trade Jey Uso and Sami Zayn back to SmackDown. As you can see, they are planting those seeds for that. Overall, this was a decent Raw show. It was very consistent. It kept my attention for the whole show. Even though I did get a phone call towards and I was able to watch the Breaker and Sammy match. Like, those two guys can't have a bad match against each other. Sami Zayn is one of the best in the business, and Bron Breakker is going to be one of the best in the business. Okay, y'all. I tell y'all what I'm going to do. I got to break this thing up into parts because I feel like I'm going to go a little long here. So stay tuned. Right after this, I am going to give you guys the top 10 storylines, wrestling storylines of all time. So, deuces.